This is the Unspoken Podcast on the Undetermined Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, Chief Seat Sports Production Party Undetermined Podcast Network, episode 47. Tom Albano here with Nick Fodera and Nick Morgasen. And guys, here we are again for the second time this week. We're not just going to be talking about one story that's got us fueling with fire, although I do have some breaking news.
Yes, we are less angry this week, but we're more simmering anger.
I just got a flash on my phone as we're starting this. So.
Oh God! Can we keep the breaking? Can we keep the breaking news to a minimum, please?
Sorry, Giants head coach Ben McAdoo doesn't regret handling of Eli Manning benching.
Of course he fucking.
Of course he doesn't. Are we surprised that this would happen?
All together now, gents. 3, 2, 1. No shit!
This is a real shocker, considering what's gone on the past couple of days, and now.
Well, let's not fully talk about that, because if you haven't listened to our podcast, episode 46 and a half, go listen to that, because we for an hour and a half got heated.
It's an all-timer, folks. It is rent-tastic to the point where Tom and I are just physically exhausted by the end of it. It's just like, stop. Stop!
And by the way, I think masturbating orangutans made it in enough times in that episode.
They made it in enough times because you just won't let that one die. I'm pigeonholed into that joke. You know, I'm typecast into that joke. I'm like Adam West, for God's sake. Everywhere I go, people are going to be pointing at me and saying, "Hey, masturbating orangutans." I'm more than masturbating orangutans. You know, I have a life. I have feelings. I have dreams too. You know.
I will say nothing about that episode except for one thing.
It was at that moment that McAdoo knew he fucked up.
And,
Well said.
Yeah, that's enough. Let's just go right into baseball now. So, boys, let's talk about some of the latest baseball stories going around. I think we should just start with the pitch clock. So it appears that in 2018, more than likely, we will see the debut of the pitch clock.
Fuck the pitch clock. That's my opinion, because we've gone. How long have we gone without a pitch clock for? Hundreds and hundreds of years. So now we're all of a sudden going to institute a 20-second pitch clock, which technically there is a rule that you're supposed to throw the pitch within 12 or 13 seconds, and the umpires never enforce it. So who gives a fuck about the pitch clock at this point?
Wait a minute. Don't go all Phil Mushnick on me. I mean, Jesus.
No, it's my opinion.
Resistant to change?
No. First of all, I give two shits if it's changed or not. I'm just telling you that I'm taking it from the standpoint of we don't follow the rule that was already in play already.
My opinion on it is just more of, it's weird because they were demonstrating it on MLB Network, and technically it's not you have to throw the pitch like Morgasen was talking about. It's like you throw the pitch, it'll finish, and then you have 20 seconds for the pitcher to go back into motion. So it's not even 20 seconds between pitches. What it is just in motion, which is weird because you could also count the fact that it's not just the pitchers, grabbing the ball, walking around the mound, and then getting back on the rubber. It's also the hitters. It's also the hitters, they'll step out of the box, they'll adjust their swing, adjust their...
Wait a minute, if that's the point, though, if you're saying it's within motion, what happens if the batter steps out of the box? Or
I think that's the question. That's the question.
Or it's like in basketball with the shot clock, where the ball has to be out of your hand. They instituted tenths of a second because of that rule, because they were having problems getting it out before 1 second. So what's going to happen? You're going to have like 1 second, and as they're coming through the physical motion to let go of the pitch, and it gets to zero, they're violation. Can't do that.
Not every pitcher's delivery of pitches is exactly the same. I mean, some guys, their delivery takes what is comparatively an eternity.
Right. So
have you ever seen a lot of these relievers pitch? They look like they're twisting themselves into a pretzel. Imagine how Imagine how long that would take.
So I think what we need to define is what is the point where motion is starting? What's the point where the clock will reset? Is it when the pitcher does this, and he's free to look around on the base?
You might want to tell people what you're doing because they're listening.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. So what I'm doing is basically starting the motion of I'm bringing. It's like when the pitcher has the ball in his glove and he's looking towards home plate. His 2 feet are together on the rubber, and he can look around at third. He can look to first. Is that going to start, where the 20 seconds can end? Or does the pitcher have to have his knee up, getting ready to deliver? Is that where it's going to start? Yeah. We need definition.
Well, you have a problem.
Yeah, who exactly is timing this anyway? Is there an umpire with a stopwatch? Is there a guy dressed as a giant clock behind the batter's eye going, "Time's up, folks"?
Wait a minute. I know the answer to that. They're actually going to put it on the scoreboard. That's what I heard they were going to do.
Yeah.
But here's the problem with what you're saying, Tom, because you're saying if they come to a regular 3/4, I think they call it 3/4 stance, where they're holding the glove in front of them.
Right.
What happens if you're pitching from the stretch?
Right. No, that's my point. It's we need definition. We need more of a defined thing because, as we were saying, pitchers are so different. It's okay, what is the definition? What is the definition of when the clock starts and when the clock ends? We have it when the clock starts, but what point is it saying, okay, he got it in the 20 seconds and we can reset the clock? It's not a violation.
Now, I think what they might add to this is there is the rule that once you come set, if you move any sense don't throw the pitch, that's a balk. So I would think that the rule would have to be as soon as you come set, that's when the 26 would have to start, regardless of how you're pitching. So I guess it would have to be when you set on the rubber.
That I could see something like that. And you mentioned the hitters, so because what if a hitter steps out of the box? And supposedly some people are saying that this will also, pardon me as my phone goes off, but this would also basically, limit the batters too. They can't stay out of the box too much. But everything is all I'm hearing about is about the pitchers. We need something to define. What if it's a hitter that causes the clock to run out? Is there a penalty against the hitter?
Yeah, what is the penalty if the clock runs out and he hasn't delivered the pitch yet?
I mean, I'm looking at the story that you sent me, Tom, to see what
I don't really see anything, or
I'm looking to see what they're saying, because they in this story all they're doing is putting an antidote of average times that it takes the pitcher to release the pitch. So what I see here is they said. They wondered, however, if the time between pitches might be negotiated to 22 seconds or 24 seconds. I think it's kind of irrelevant, because what happens once you get to the playoffs and you need to take more time between pitches? Are you going to have a time violation every time you need to take more time in the playoffs? I mean, what are you going to do?
And Nick, what you're talking about of what is the violation, what is the penalty? That's my thing. I think we're talking too much about pace of play, that we're not defining these rules specifically. If we're going to make these changes, let's define them clear and cut. That way there's no controversy.
So why aren't they just ironing out all these kinks before they? Well, they're not kinks. They're flaws in the design. Why are they not fixing them before they're implementing this?
Because they're panic moving. They're going on the instincts and the opinions of people, and it's hey, we want this now. We want this now. We want this now. And Manfred, he has been wanting, to change the pace of baseball, so that way people aren't going to find it as boring, supposedly.
But here's the problem. So if you institute a pitch clock, like the shot clock, like I said in the NBA. Now, the shot clock works in the NBA because if you don't have it, you're just going to dribble the ball until the quarter ends. But it's a little different for Major League Baseball, because when you have a pitch clock, you're going to force the game to rush and moments to rush, which is going to cause bad baseball to be played, in my opinion. So
but the thing is, basketball has a clock, an overall clock. So basketball, I don't. Well, then again, I don't watch a lot.
I get what you're saying. Basketball, there's a time.
Terminable, like baseball, sometimes can seem to be.
I get what you're saying, Nick. Basketball has a time limit, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. But the shot clock, that's just a formality. It's not a measure to keep people from getting bored. It's to keep
Keep the ball moving.
To keep the ball moving, to get the competition going. The pitcher is going to. It's not like the pitcher isn't going to pitch without a pitch clock.
Right. And basically, as you were saying, when are they going to institute this? Well, MLB was trying this out in the Arizona Fall League in 2014 at AA and AAA levels in the story you sent me, Tom. And then they were starting in 2015 officially to see if they were actually going to do it.
I do remember being at a minor league game where they were doing the pitch clock. I think it was at a single A game. And I think it was. No, I'm talking about a personal experience. I think I was at like a single A.
Staten Island Yankees?
I know it wasn't the Staten Island Yankees. They're very low single A. I'm thinking like regular single A to AA to AAA.
I heard about this though, actually, where they were testing these clocks, and what was happening was that they were struggling to stay within the time constraints because they're not used to doing it.
Really? I remember being at, I forget where it was. I think it was either the Lakewood Blue Claws, which is the Phillies affiliate, or the Trenton Thunder, which is the Yankees affiliate. And I remember it being like, it didn't change too much to me.
I don't know. I think they're trying to force something on these guys that hasn't been done for hundreds of years.
Well, now here's the thing. We're talking, because I know we're talking about, like change and is it good or is it not? And here's the thing. We were talking about, like, why aren't they ironing out all these flaws? Why aren't they defining everything? And they're just rushing into it. I guarantee you if we're going next season and they institute next season, something's going to happen, and there's going to be a team that's screwed, and we're going to look at the end of the year, and we're going to say, if they had defined the pitch clock more, maybe this doesn't happen. Whether it's a team getting screwed out of a game or of a playoff run, or if it's a pitcher getting injured, something's going to happen, and we're going to look at it in retrospect.
See, yeah, I'm thinking we need another year of testing this. We should wait until 2019.
Well, not just testing it. I think maybe 2020, because I think we still need a year to negotiate to the T and define everything to the T. What exactly is this? And then we test it for a year in the minor leagues in 2019, and then we implement it in 2020.
Well, to talk about the testing standpoint, remember when we got the challenge system, we had to test that for a good year and a half at least. There were rumors about that all the way back to 2014, 2015. But we didn't institute that.
Before that. No. It was even before that.
Yeah, way before that.
I remember hearing rumblings about that back in 2011.
All right. But my point is that they did a lot of testing on the challenge system.
This was way in the making.
But I'm saying that they needed to do the testing on the challenge system before they could officially attest it so they can use it. And it's made the game better. Now, they need to find a way to speed up the process of this. Now, believe it or not, and go along with my theory because it might be a little nuts, but I think that adding the pitch clock is actually going to slow down the game.
I don't know.
In what sense?
In what sense? I just think that because they're not going to be used to the system.
Oh, because they're going to waste time. They're going to waste time screwing with it.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that too. Like I said, I don't know. Like, I'm not.
Let's remember when replay was first initiated, they took something like 10, 15 minutes to actually go down into the bowels of Yankee Stadium. I remember actually because the first instance of replay being used was to confirm or overturn a home run that A-Rod hit. And I think they took about 10 to 15 minutes.
And
which nowadays it only takes like 2.
That's a long time.
Well, 2 to 3 minutes, and they're still complaining about in the challenge system. They need to be able to do what they do in football, where They need to say, all right, we're going to go over to the challenge system. We're going to look at the play. And I think they have like 2 minutes to determine if the play is overturned or not. And if it doesn't, then the play has to stay as called.
Well, and also let's also not forget that if you guys go to a stadium for a game, they actually have a clock now for in between innings. It's like a minute and a half you only get to, or a minute and a half or 2 minutes or something like that.
2 minutes.
Warm up the pitcher, the outfielders, the infielders, everything. It's like, hey, let's speed up the commercial time too. So basically, I think we're all in agreement. There are things that need to be more ironed out before we should institute this.
And they are going to fix none of those. That's what I know.
Probably.
Shit. I think baseball's in trouble because people have short attention spans. So they got to figure out that issue. But it's not just pace of play. They got to do other things.
Right. And before we go into more baseball stuff, we rarely ever talk college football here on this podcast. But you know what? We're going to, because we got some breaking news.
All right. So I just got an alert. Now, you've been hearing the news about Jimbo Fisher, right?
Yes, indeed, I have.
But Jimbo Fisher has had to make a decision between Texas A&M and Florida, right?
Right.
Yes.
Well, it's just been reported that Texas A&M officials have approved a 10-year, $75 million deal for Jimbo Fisher to come coach Texas A&M.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again into my good ear? I think I heard something that was completely made of bullshit.
10 years, $75 million deal for Jimbo Fisher to be the head coach of the Texas A&M.
God,
Did you say 10?
Those words, is it possible to use them in a sentence like that?
And actually, guess what? It is the richest deal in college football history in terms of total value.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
I'm very surprised. I thought Jimbo Fisher was going to stay in Florida.
Well, congratulations to Florida. You just lost out to the biggest deal for coaching college football history. Good God. That's money. Wow.
That is not only an obscene amount of money, it's not only an absurd amount of money, it's a sacrilegious amount of money, as Patton Oswalt said.
And haven't there been, there's been multiple college moves going around. Because didn't Lane Kiffin there were rumors that he was going to leave Oklahoma State?
That's not happening, I don't think.
No, it's not.
They talk about failing upwards. It's Lane Kiffin's picture in the dictionary.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oh, God. By the way, he's going to be the second highest paid coach in the FBS with an average salary of $7.5 million a year. Who's number one?
Who?
Really? Do I have to say who's number one? Who do we all hate in college football?
Saban.
Saban!
Of course it is.
Nick Saban is the devil.
$8.5 million a year.
By the way, I'm just going to get it out of my system now. If Auburn wins this week against Georgia, Alabama shouldn't see any playoff. I'm sorry. That's my take. Even though I'm not a big college football guy, I say the only way Alabama should see a playoff, the college football playoffs, is if basically one of the other three teams in the top four right now lose. That's the only way they should see the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, the way they're playing, and they made their schedule, and they only chose one game that was somewhat important all year.
And that was the Iron Bowl, of course, and they got killed. They got killed worse than the Miracle in 2013.
That's why they call it the Miracle of 2013.
I bet you they still see Chris Young running across the field in their nightmares.
And with the call. There goes Davis.
There goes Davis.
Win the football game.
All right, but let's move on. I just wanted to break that. I know we have a few more baseball things we got to get to because we have a lot to get to.
So let's go to two players in particular that have been at the conversation of baseball in terms of trying to fight for their rights, and that would be Shohei Otani and Giancarlo Stanton.
Talk about money, folks.
Talk about fighting for your right to party. Well, this is fighting for the right to say, I own Shohei Otani and I own Giancarlo Stanton.
Hey, talk about this is over A-Rod money, for crying out loud.
See, well, again, context is necessary. So we found out this week. Well, we know already that the Yankees have officially started their pursuit of Shohei Otani, and they are completely and utterly willing to let him pitch and hit because, according to his teammates in Japan, he is the real deal. He's Mike Trout crossed with Clay Kershaw, crossed with Jesus, crossed with some kind of furry rodent.
But it appears that the Yankees have some competition, as the Angels have received some pool money from the Braves because, of course, we all know about the Braves and international signings.
Well, that's a little brutal. I mean, I get it, but
Dun, 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 dun.
by the way, did you see that Brian Cashman also came out today and called Shohei Otani a perfect fit for the Yankees?
He's not. But hey, you know what? Recruiting drives are what they are. But here's what bugs me. He wants to pitch and hit, right?
Right.
But basically, what's going to happen is he's going to pitch once a week. I mean, pitch once a week and hit once a week. That's what I'm hearing, and he won't give that up otherwise. Now, my opinion on Otani is he's not going to be able to keep that up forever. If he wants a long career, he's not going to be able to do both.
And why doesn't he just go in the NL? Because pitchers hit anyway.
I think that's the thing. He fits more in the NL, but he's getting a lot of pursuit from AL teams.
He apparently wants to go to an AL team. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Because he wants the big market. Think about it. When Daisuke came out for the Red Sox, when Masahiro Tanaka came out for the Yankees, just think about market value.
Well, the Dodgers are a big market. The Mets are supposedly in a big market, although...
Yeah, but I was going to say that, but the Mets don't know how to spend their money.
Yeah, I was going to say, prove it to me before you actually call yourselves a big market. But Atlanta, would you consider Atlanta a big market? Because it's a big city.
I don't know, but
it's a mid-sized market.
Yeah, well...
San Francisco's a big market. It's California, for God's sake.
Wait. Here's what I consider a big market, okay?
Okay.
New York, L.A., Chicago, Philadelphia. Those are really... And maybe San Francisco, which is part of L.A., really. So it's like 4 or 5 markets.
I would say... Also, here's the thing. I would debate about Atlanta. The problem is, as I mentioned, they have all those penalties against them for what they did with the international...
Yeah, their executive got the Pete Rose special, didn't he?
Exactly. So Atlanta, even if Atlanta was in that category, they've shot themselves in the foot already.
Yeah, but there are NL teams in in major markets. So why not just go there? So we don't have to have this, because if the Yankees sign Shohei Otani, there's going to be a Class A. There's going to be a chimp grade shitstorm, going around. With people talking about, should we go with a 6-man rotation? Should we go with this? Should we go with that? And
6-man rotations don't work.
And then, of course, we're going to have Vinny from Comac chiming in and go,
I don't know, but in the long run, I think that Shohei Otani... By the way, did you see that he was handing out surveys to all the teams? He handed out a questionnaire.
Questionnaires, yes, I saw that.
And basically, one of his things was, are you going to allow me to pitch and hit? And I found out if any teams say no, those automatically go in the garbage.
I'm not surprised.
I
I
don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. We've got to like an NBA level of I don't want to call it star fucking, but it's they certainly are allowed to dictate the process.
I mean,
and you know what? All the power to them.
I'm seeing reports that the Yankees, if they were to get Otani, that they might bring back Sabathia and pitch a 6-man rotation. But 6-man rotations have had a history of not working.
Especially since pitchers aren't hardwired, at least in this country, aren't hardwired to work like that.
But the problem is, in Japan, what is it? I think they pitch every 4 days.
Something like that.
As opposed to 5 days here in the U.S. So, I don't know. I want him badly because I think he's going to be a star. People are saying he's going to be the Japanese Babe Ruth. But it's going to be tough. I heard 12 to 15 other teams are involved.
Now, before we go on to Giancarlo Stanton, I'll just ask this one question, boys. Does this open up now Shohei Otani, especially if he does become, a hitter and a pitcher? Does this open up more debate for either the National League institute the DH or the American League get rid of the DH? Does this institute that debate again?
It should, but it won't, I think.
Which way it should?
It should be that the National League adopts the DH, but it won't.
See, I think...
Especially if Otani comes here and gets hurt.
Right. I think that they need to stop the pitcher hitting in the National League, put the DH in, because you're paying some of these pitchers hundreds of millions of dollars to pitch. And I think that it's time to stop the bullshit of National League-style baseball. I have a friend, Anthony, Met fan, National League-style baseball fan, who I argued with over the years. He's like, National League-style baseball is better. And I'm like, why is it better? Because there's more thought and more challenge into National League-style baseball. And you know what? I said, no. There's the same amount of challenge for each. I'm sick of seeing the pitchers hit. Most of the time, they're not going to hit. So I'd rather have the extra hitter and see more power in this game.
Because there's more strategy. What the fuck is this? Connect Four?
Yeah, really.
I do appreciate the National League style of baseball, but it presents two flaws and why the National League should switch to the DH. Either one is, as you mentioned, the pitchers don't hit, and number two, with all the money we are paying these pitchers these days and all the expectations that we give the pitchers, it's just you can't afford for them to get hurt.
No,
you're right.
Certainly not.
With the amount of money that we're seeing in the game today, Clayton Kershaw's $215 million contract, and even now that we're instituting more interleague baseball, now we're seeing guys like David Price get hurt. We're seeing guys just get hurt, and they're not usable, and it's just money going down the drain at this point.
So that should wrap up Otani for us. Let's talk about Giancarlo Stanton. So, I mean, as a Yankees fan, it's like there's the young Yankees fan in me that's hopping around, and then there's the older, more journalistic baseball fan who likes the Yankees that's going, oh, God, they're looking like they're going to mess their cap up. This whole plan is going to go
there is no cap.
There goes.
I mean, I'm looking at some of the reports right now on, excuse me, the Marlins and the Giants are talking trades, and apparently they want a haul back for Stanton. But from Bob Nightingale, who writes for, what paper does he write for? I forgot. Oh, USA Today. Said the Giants say their meeting with Giancarlo Stanton's reps were simply a precursor in trade talks with the Marlins, and they still don't know whether a deal can be consummated at this point. But there's other factors that are involved. So, under the current tax law, if Giancarlo Stanton is traded to the Giants and becomes a California resident, it will cost him $19.9 million in additional income taxes. That's according to Bob Nightingale. So, you have a lot of factors that could flaw this trade.
That's true. So it's like, as much as the Giants, haven't we talked about how Stan would be a perfect fit for the Giants on this podcast?
Yes, we did actually. The first time we brought it up, we would. That was, I think that was one of the teams we agreed on that they could actually use him. Yeah,
because we said, we were talking about how maybe Bumgarner would be. How they're rebuilding, like Bumgarner would be the center. But, I mean, now you bring Giancarlo Stanton in. You got Giancarlo Stanton for the hitting-wise and fielding-wise, and you got Madison Bumgarner pitching-wise. It's like, hey, look, that's two good stars to build your team around to help.
The problem is they have nothing else.
I think they're taking the Giants. They said the Giants would be taking at least 290 of the
295.
295 of
the 325.
Of the 325 that
the Giants will be taking it head on.
Well, the Giants would be taking that.
Yes,
and that is absurd.
Yeah, but I'm trying to pull up the story. I saw it, but in return,
that's good for the Marlins. Gets them out of that contract for the most part.
Yes, but why would the Giants be? Well, you know what? Why would anything be so stupid? Why anything? I mean,
here's the numbers.
All the time. I just answered my own question.
So, John Morrissey reported Thursday that the Marlins would be willing to trade Stanton for second baseman Joe Panik and Class AAA prospects Chris Shaw and Tyler Bidet, provided San Francisco.
Tyler Bidet?
That's what I can't pronounce his name. Beatty. I think it's Beatty, whatever.
He certainly is a burst of cool water.
Yeah, really. All right, masturbating orangutan, shut your mouth.
Jesus.
So, as I was saying, that they would get Joe Panik, Class A AAA prospects Chris Shaw, and Tyler Beatty, provided San Francisco absorbs around $250 million of the $295 left on the contract.
Which is a metric buttload of money.
Right. And as I said, it would be foolish, maybe on the Marlins' part to not do that trade because, you're getting rid of that contract. You want to get rid of Jeter, and the owners want to get rid of that contract so badly that, it's like, the opportunity is right there. But now the Yankees are somehow in this mix.
Are they?
I've heard reports that they have at least met with Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, but every team is.
I would think that's just due diligence, though. I mean,
yeah, I don't see much coming out of that. Also, speaking of the Marlins and the ownership group of Derek Jeter.
Oh no.
We all think Derek Jeter is, for the most part, 99.9% a good guy, right?
Right.
That's what we thought.
So, according to Jeff Passan, who's a MLB writer for Yahoo Sports, the Miami Marlins let go of a scout in need of a kidney transplant while he was in the hospital recovering from colon cancer surgery.
Now, just be clear, was it? You said a scout. Was it a scouted player or a scout?
No, a scout. A scout.
A scout who's been with the organization for 20 years.
Oh no. Oh, no.
I mean, really, Derek? Really?
It's not the grand poobah of dick moves, but it's definitely up there.
I mean, I understand Derek is all Mr. CEO now, even though he only has less than 1% of the team.
Right.
But have a fucking heart, man.
I mean, if you're going to pay the guy, then, all right, I get maybe if you have to make a move, but come on, like, I lost a little faith here. Like, Derek was one of my favorite players growing up as a kid. Now you're hurting me a little bit.
Please don't tell me he's a ginormous asshole. I really don't want to know.
Like, did he just let him go? He didn't at least, pay for the surgery or something? Like, can't you at least do that?
It doesn't say. I mean, I can look.
I know it doesn't say, but I'm saying, can't you at least pay for his surgery if you're going to let him go?
Help the poor guy get another job?
It's not going to happen. I mean, Derek, he let go Jeff Conine, for crying out loud. The guy who's been with the organization since the World Series run. I mean,
God, this is like putting a wrecking ball through a team.
Jesus H. Muffin baskets. That's cold.
I mean, Jeff Conine, Andre Dawson. They let go all the. I don't know. I think Derek Jeter went from being the good guy in baseball. This is what happens. Business changes you. Once you're an athlete, you have to kind of be nice to everybody. Once you're in ownership and in business and management, your whole attitude changes like that.
The asshole switch gets turned on.
I wouldn't say the asshole switch gets turned on, as I would say just because you're a great player or a great coach, it doesn't mean you make a great front office executive. Hi, Phil Jackson.
Hello, Phil Jackson.
Oh, wow.
California sunshine.
This is interesting.
Or hi, Mike Holmgren. How's Cleveland?
Wow. All right, we got a lot to get to. So why don't we finish this baseball because we got to get through it.
Yeah. So Brett Boone and Greg Zahn. Oh boy.
So it just seems like with all of this news of people coming out with sexual assault, allegedly, and abuse, and the Matt Lauer situation coming out, and him being completely fucked now, and his lawyer apparently going after $30 million on his contract.
And not just Matt Lauer, also affected in terms of the journalism world, Charlie Rose and now Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, when did you hear Geraldo Rivera? I didn't hear that.
Bette Midler came out and posted a interview clip from like 1991 where she admitted that Geraldo, she's claiming that Geraldo had groped her during an interview.
God.
Of course he's a creep. How do you have a mustache like that and not be a creep? You have to be an early 20th century circus ringleader to have a mustache. If you are not,
and that's the thing.
Have a mustache, there is an above 75% chance that you are a pervert.
Oh my God! Wow. But,
I don't know how to go from that.
I don't know, but long story short, I'll try to drag us back here. So we have two stories here. Greg Zahn getting fired from Sportsnet in Canada for inappropriate behavior toward female colleagues, which seems to be the issue we're having.
Something that he did, because I didn't catch this story.
Well, I'm trying to find. Rogers Media announced Thursday that it has fired Sportsnet baseball analyst Greg Zahn after complaints from multiple female employees at Sportsnet regarding inappropriate behavior and comments. That's what they're saying right now.
It doesn't say anything further, right?
No, they're basic. That's what they're saying, and they're saying Zahn is the first prominent sports media figure to lose his job amid the recent wave of sexual harassment allegations that began with accusations against Harvey Weinstein in early October.
Of course, men are pigs. We really are.
Well, be careful, not us, but most men.
No, I just eat like a pig.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So he always struck me as an interesting individual as a baseball player, where he just had an awkward personality.
You talking about Greg Zahn?
Yeah.
I actually never heard Greg Zahn before. I think actually I may have heard him like in passing whenever like my TV was on MLB Network and they were showing like a Blue Jays game, but like I rarely paid attention to it.
He was very fiery because just his personality as a catcher. I mean, I don't know.
He's a character actor of MLB players. He's hey, I didn't know that guy was in that thing.
Yeah, basically. Now, what's weird, though, is that Sportsnet clarified that there are no allegations of physical or sexual assault. So I'm confused. They're going based off of allegations, even though they're saying there are no allegations.
Wait, what?
I'm just reading to you what it says.
I know. No, it's like I'm trying to process this information in my head, and so repeat what you just said.
Well, basically what's happening... Well, I'll repeat what I said, and then I'll read something else. Sportsnet clarified that there were no, quote, no allegations of physical or sexual assault, but they're going off complaints from multiple female employees that work at Sportsnet.
These crimes are at these... If he did them, and believe me, I'm more than inclined to believe that he did, it's despicable. Absolutely despicable. These guys are creeps. Plain and simple. Assaulters. Creeps.
You know what the problem is? The people who did these crimes are morons, but the way the companies have been coming out and saying that they're trying to clarify it has been a joke.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I personally, like, I would at least, suspend him indefinitely. But it's like, it just confused me because it's like multiple women have come out. It's like, okay, so there's a good, there's substance here, so let's suspend him indefinitely. But then you said, like, no allegations of physical, I'm like, wait, how does this work?
With the amount of people that have been fired already, I'm inclined to believe that where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a hell of a lot of smoke and we're about to see how much fire there is.
But the problem with this story is that because of all the fire from sports, from entertainment, from music, to everybody that has been reportedly coming out for alleged sexual assault or misconduct, they're not doing the due diligence of checking into the situation. They're just firing people. So you need to check these situations before you absolutely fire people.
That's why I said suspend indefinitely, because technically that's like a firing if you're not going to pay them, and then you do the due process, and then you fire them.
They really don't want to take. They don't want to take the chance that he had done something truly despicable.
Nick, which is fair. The only thing is, at the rate we're going, someone's going to get fired wrongly, and then you know what's going to happen?
They're going to sue
for wrongful termination.
Right, they're going to sue for wrongful termination. Now, the biggest debate was the Matt Lauer contract. He's suing, but I think he broke the moral clause in his contract.
So, right, that's the thing. That's
doing what he did.
As a journalist, he's been fired for ethics.
Right, exactly.
Yes, so, and not to mention he was basically running his news station, as if you'll forgive the term, in a moral fuck hut against women.
You know what's creepy to me though, and I'm sure.
Don't pull your penis out to a woman that doesn't ask for it.
What's creepy is, did you know that it was reported allegedly in his office he had a button under his desk that locked the door?
What?
Again, creep. He had a button under his desk that would lock people from the inside.
That's allegedly. I don't know how true that story is.
Allegedly, but now I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what? How? Why? And just I don't know.
Just to make it worse, he had sex toys in his office, allegedly.
Again, creepy creep.
Wait a minute. I can't tell if that's Tom's thinking or if that's Tom's brain, like, burning over.
Yes. The answer is yes.
I smell wood burning. That's either you thinking or my house is burning down.
No, but now, how does that work? How did someone not know? If that's true, how did they not know? How did someone not say?
Well, he's a powerful. Let's remember, a lot of people were under his employ, and really their jobs depended on him. And really, it's very intimidating to come forward. Believe me, I've got women in my family who have done the same thing, and I have all the sympathy in the world for the women. Thank God they're finally coming forward now.
I mean, thank God, but it's like, I don't know how I'd feel if I walked into Matt Lauer's office and then what's sitting on his desk? I don't know. What's some popular sex toy?
Don't worry about it. But
butt plugs?
Wow. You had to pick that one, didn't you?
He asked. Don't know. Don't. I don't know why I know that, but
the Unspoken Podcast, where nothing goes unspoken.
I guess not.
But
still.
Well, just to put a bow on that, so we can.
The point is, what I'm saying is, even with Greg Zahn and Matt Lauer, you don't want to take the chance that these guys have done something absolutely despicable, because we're finally getting this toxic, poisonous, chauvinistic culture of, that allowed this shit to happen is finally, well, not starting to lift, but we can see into it now. And, God bless you for that.
But Greg Zahn's not the only one. Enter Brett Boone.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Just to put a bow on the Matt Lauer thing so we can move on from it, there was a story reported in 2012 that Katie Couric allegedly got her butt pinched by Matt Lauer a few times as they were working together.
And so 2012?
Yes. Because they worked together for 2 years.
This isn't 2003. This isn't 1995. This isn't 1986. This is 2012.
She actually came out and gave the report on her own. So,
and nobody did a thing then.
Nope. they kind of let it go because he's Matt Lauer.
I have no words.
Classic example of men thinking with their genitals instead of their brains.
I have no fucking words.
Well, sometimes I think that some men should take their dicks and put it on their head and put their head down where their dick is. But that's just no, because that's where they think.
You have to pay money to see that.
Well, that's what certain guys do. That's the way they think.
But as far as Brett Boone is concerned,
God,
he just apropos of nothing. Now, for those of you who didn't catch this, apropos of nothing, there was a local Seattle area journalist who was DM'd by Brett Boone on Twitter, and he was basically belittling all the people that all the women that have come forward. It's like, I said hi to the checkout girl at a Vans or something. I guess she's going to sue me for sexual assault. Ha ha ha.
Well, it says it right here. It says, I got sexually harassed twice today. The Starbucks girl smiled at me, and the woman at Rite Aid flirted with me. I'm getting a lawyer. Unacceptable, LOL.
Which, that's not fucking funny, you
No, it's not. You have to realize, and first of all, you're talking to a reporter, so you know the reporter's going to go, is probably saying, drool bucket, I'm going to go post that somewhere.
But that was nothing to do with anything. It was just completely random. It's apropos of nothing. Like I said before, he just decided one day, you know what? Who wants to hear my bullshit opinion?
No, Nick, I don't think it was that. I think it was more, I want to be in the spotlight today. What could I do to get myself into the spotlight? Well,
listen to this other post he put up. So it says, because it's a joke and I have no clue who you are, nor do I care. Just sick of the liberal BS, and everyone all of a sudden is offended. Sorry that bothered you. Go back to whatever you do in your PC world. And once again, I apologize if you were offended. You definitely would not be allowed to play golf in my foursome.
This sounds Kurt Schilling-esque.
It is, because
Kurt Schilling's a moron.
The moment that you use the words PC culture or liberal anything or SJW, I disregard everything you say because you're basically an asshole. Because that's what this is.
You better be careful, because once you say Kurt Schilling's name, it's going to end up on his political show that he does 2 hours a day. You do know he does a political internet show, right?
He has a political internet show now. Geez, why am I not surprised?
Well, he worked at ESPN for how long? And then basically because of he got in trouble for a political view he said on ESPN, got fired. Some political company hired him, and now he's doing a political, like a radio show in a sense now.
Of course, I have no experience.
Well, you know what? His opinions are not unlike his business acumen in video games. Shoddy.
Oh, you mean his 38 Productions company?
Yes. And there's a reason why everybody in Rhode Island basically wants to find him and cut his balls off.
Well, yeah, because he basically bankrupted everybody. You're right, Tom. This whole Brett Boone thing is basically very Kurt Schilling-esque, because this is why the fuck do we care about Brett Boone? Why does Brett Boone assume that we care about what Brett Boone has to say?
Exactly. Hey, boys, here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Watch what you post on Twitter. Watch what you post on Twitter. Watch what you post on Twitter.
I agree. And this is another one which I don't get. So he went on even more to say...
No, I don't want to hear anymore.
He said, be a man and take a joke, or be a PC offended by everything, clown. I do not represent my brother.
You're a dick.
And then the reporter said, I am a man. I just respect women because I'm not an asshole.
There's a difference, boys, between being an insult comic and being a dick. This is being a dick.
Wait a minute. So there was an update to this Deadspin story. So Boone came out and decided I was an asshole and tweeted this. There are 0 excuses for what I said earlier. None. It was 100% wrong. It was offensive. It was inappropriate. It was not remotely productive to any conversation regarding harassment. I apologize and it will never happen again.
That's because somebody pulled him aside and said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
No. His lawyer tied him up, stapled his lips shut, and actually tweeted that for him.
You're probably right.
Also, just to put a bow on this, by the way, guys, so supposedly, because I was listening to, I think it was 106.7, the day that Matt Lauer got fired, and supposedly on Howard Stern, supposedly now they are taking bets as to who they think each time is going to be next.
Oh, I don't want to know. It's going to be somebody we respect.
It's going to be.
It's gonna be somebody everybody respects, and nobody would ever think that.
It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse.
Yeah, nobody would ever think to associate them with that kind of behavior. Boy, you know. Thank God, Mr. Rogers was never actually accused of anything. I can't imagine that. That would basically be like kicking so many people's childhoods in the face.
With this situation, it's like for every one of those things where it's like, oh. There was he's been fired for allegations, even though, there has been no evidential allegation. For every one of those, there's also a part of me that's like, okay, who's next? Okay, take your bets, place your bets. Who's going to be the next one to go? Who's going to be the next one to fall? Because at this point, it's like, God, I don't know how else to describe this situation.
Next, you're going to tell me Elmo runs a human trafficking ring.
Next, I'm just gonna repeat the words that I said like last week or 2 weeks ago. I just want a fireball to come down to Earth and just destroy everything.
So
next, you're gonna tell me that Mr. Rogers sells meth.
Wow! All right, I think I got two pieces of breaking news as we transition.
Oh, no.
So this is from Florida State University quarterback DeAndre Francis. I can't pronounce his name. I think it's a French name. He's reacting to Jimbo leaving. So this is interesting. His quarterback from Florida basically came out and said, "No call, no text. You could have said something to me."
Huh? Oh.
So he basically left without telling his starting quarterback that he was going.
Oh, no. You done goofed. You done goofed.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
That's bad.
I mean, so basically what that tells me is that he basically took the job without telling anybody.
Yeah.
Way to go, you fuck!
Because it's maybe, you know what? It's just easier to call him an asshole. But I mean, you don't tell your
him an asshole. That's an asshole move.
You don't tell your quarterback that you're deciding. Okay, I decided to take a deal with Texas A&M. Sorry, bye. He just left. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Who else did he probably, if he didn't tell the quarterback, then he didn't tell the rest of the team.
Well, he had to let the school know. The school was going back and forth with him all week.
But then where was the school to say something? Where was he to tell the team? Where was anybody in this?
Sounds like Giants ownership all over again.
Oh
God. Please don't turn over that rock again. I've just now started to get regular sleep.
Easy. All right. So
that's a lie.
That's one piece of breaking news. Another piece of breaking news. This is from John Heyman. Justin Upton received a full no trade protection on a $106 million 5-year deal with the Angels. Also, $500,000 for MVP incentives, other award bonuses, and use of luxury suite for 10 games a year.
Who's this again?
Justin Upton.
Well, I don't know what else to say to that except let me just do this. Hey boys, remember this. Remember, Roger Goodell wants what? $50 million to use of a private jet.
He wants 50. He's making $20 million a year now. He wants $50 million a year plus full health insurance plus a private jet for the rest of his life. can we just take that jet and fly his ass out of here?
Does that mean he gets a rhesus monkey dressed up in a butler outfit?
Basically, yeah.
Oh Lord. Before we get to the NFL, though, let's talk about.
Come in there, Jeeves. My butthole needs waxing.
God. Go ahead, Tom.
All right. Let's talk about the NBA. Let's just talk one thing and one thing only about the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, when you have the face of a franchise and the face of an organization, you expect them to be wholehearted and clean, and they won't do anything wrong. They won't get ejected from a game or anything. Derek Jeter hasn't been ejected from a game. Eli Manning hasn't been ejected from a game. I don't think Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin have been ejected from a game. But guess what, everybody? For the first time in his career, LeBron James has been ejected from a game. Not fouling out, not sitting the bench just because it's a blowout. No, he was told, you're out of here by a referee.
I was telling you guys that there was a great Instagram video, and I'm trying to look it up now. But it was basically a version of Smash Brothers where he's getting dealt damage as he's walking closer and closer to the referee. And by the time he gets the referee mad enough, he goes with like the Falcon Punch arm and just punches LeBron James all the way across the court into the back. And he goes, psh, ah!
And it's like the white screen of like, that's the match.
That's the game.
Which sounds hilarious. You gotta send that to me. But
I'm trying to find it.
It seems what was he ejected? He was ejected because he went after the ref, right?
He was ejected for arguing.
He was ejected. Look, we don't know what was said. That's the thing.
Oh, he cursed. Definitely.
Yeah, he probably said the magic words.
I was gonna say, and that's my personal opinion. And somebody else, I forget who, one of the sports writers who said it, if you say something like the F word or the C word to a ref, gone. You're gone.
It's like baseball. I mean, you get what you get. Once you say the magic word, you're done.
Wait, do you mean the C word is in the one that starts with C, ends with T, and is in coconut?
Yeah. Yes.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
I was gonna say, I've never heard it that way before.
Yeah, I hate using that word. That's why I don't use it. But it's
kind of describing stuff that we really wouldn't know anyway. So
yeah, you use fuck or the other word. It's you're out.
It kind of makes me laugh sometimes when people use that word and they have no context of why they're using it whatsoever.
But boys, what do you think? So we've answered the first, most important question. Do you think he should have been ejected? We all agree, yes.
Yeah, he should have been ejected.
Well, Nick,
I mean, he's argued with refs before, hasn't he?
Yeah, he gets the star treatment because if you piss him off, then the NBA goes along with it. So basically, the way to look at this is he finally got what he deserved because he had the treatment for so many years that a referee finally said, "Hey, LeBron, you're not going to treat me like shit. Get the fuck out of here."
I just feel like I said, I don't know if he said it. We say he probably did curse, but if that is the truth, and as we talked about, if he said something like, "Fuck, I'm sorry, see you later,"
you're gonna have to go, son.
I don't care. I don't care if you're now 11-1 in November and you were, you turned things around ever since that god awful Arbor meme. It's like,
wait a minute. I have the perfect thing to describe this situation. Okay.
Oh God, what is it?
This is what the referee was basically thinking when he decided to eject LeBron James.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Thank you, Penn.
So,
how have I not used that on this show in weeks? How have I not thought of adding that to the soundboard?
But that's basically what the referee was saying. You need to shut the fuck up and get out.
I mean, come on. It's just an ejection for what he was ejected in the third quarter, so you only missed half the game. It's not like he was suspended the full time. Give it a rest.
Give me a break. The guy makes fucking $100 million a year. You think he's really complaining about missing a game?
Not even a game. A quarter of a game.
Who gives a fuck? No one. I don't, at least.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Let's go to the NFL. Before we talk Week 12 recap and Week 13 preview, let's just talk about some breaking news that came about last night. So, over the past couple of days, the NFL and this coalition, social justice coalition, there's basically been a thing of, let's donate some money to, a social justice cause. And it appears a couple of players have basically left the coalition for circumstances we didn't understand why. Then yesterday, the day before recording this, he came out that the NFL would donate $89 million to this coalition and, to forward talks about social justice in the NFL. And some are saying,
what is tantamount to buying them off to stop them from protesting, because apparently they believe the NFL is convinced that that's the reason why this has been a shitty season of the NFL and viewership is down.
And didn't Malcolm Jenkins say he would no longer put the fist up during the anthem as a result of this?
Well, that's what I heard.
And also I had heard last week that, I don't know if this is true or not, that they're done. They're not going to be out for the anthem anymore. The teams are going to be in the locker room like they used to be.
That's what they should do.
Well, it turns out there might be reason for those players who left the coalition and, the whole buying out argument. Well, something has come out that is causing a lot of questioning of the NFL's, not just like that motive, like buying out stuff, but there came a report from Slate, and this came directly. Slate was directly told from, I believe it was Ed Reed of the San Francisco 49ers, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Basically, that the $89 million was not sitting in the NFL, in Roger Goodell's office, and they were just like, okay, here, take it. It appears that the allegations are that the NFL has taken this $89 million from the breast cancer awareness drive that they do and the Salute to Service military drive that they do. So basically, they took two of their charitable organizations, two of their, most prominent things that they do, and are using this
to buy their players' silence to stop them from expressing their opinions.
I know, which is so stupid. I mean, I get what they're doing.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Right. So they're taking. When I told the guys when we were talking in the meeting that I thought that this was originally I thought this was a good thing because they were taking $89 to $100 million and making donations. But when I found out, like Nick said, they're robbing Peter to pay Paul in this situation, I said, fuck Roger Goodell. Fire this asshole. Don't give him the $50 million plus his full health insurance and a lifetime private jet. They should shove that private jet up his asshole, but it's not going to happen. But you know what? The NFL is in a shit place, and it's going to end up in a shit hole, and I think they're going to lose a lot of money in the next couple of years.
And here's my take on it. The social justice stuff, of course, there are going to be mixed opinions across the board. And stuff like we have agreed, Nick, like weeks ago, we want to talk very little about because it's doing no favors to anything. But this is sickening that they would take from the charity stuff, the charity that they do.
The stuff that they acted, the stuff that the worthy causes that they actually support, that isn't just bullshit advertising for
they take those dollars and they shove it into players' mouths.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. It's number one, right? Number one, it's shameful because all you're doing is just saying, "Here, take the money, shut up." You're not exactly doing anything to help. But number two, the only other argument is like this is the most prominent thing now. It's like, excuse me, as somebody who, number one, has had family in the military. Number 2, has had family who's had cancer, and unfortunately has had a family member who has passed away from cancer. I love the stuff that they do with the cancer awareness. And the fact that you are saying now, like, these aren't worthy of this money, I'm sorry, fuck you. Fuck you, Goodell. That's sickening.
It is. It's bad. And from the way that this story is being reported, I don't blame the players for stepping out on this one, because now we all have a problem with them kneeling and raising the fists, and some people do, some people don't.
As I said, there's divisiveness across the board on that one.
I don't have a problem with it, but a lot of people do.
I have a problem. If you want to go do it on your own time, that's fine, but don't do it where the cameras
We
are.
don't want to rehash those points. I mean,
No, but I'm just making the point for this, that basically they're taking money from where they shouldn't be taking money, and this has Roger Goodell's name written all over it, and this is why I think he should be fired.
And it should be especially galling and insulting to the players to think that you think that money's going to shut us up. You think they're just paying us? So the cause is that fragile or shallow to us. Just pay me enough money, and we'll stop talking about people getting gunned down by cops.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't want to go there, Nick. I don't.
All right. Okay. All right. Sorry.
But I will say this. Number 1, it's shutting Malcolm Jenkins up. And number 2, if it is really shutting Malcolm Jenkins up and he doesn't care where that money comes from, that says more about him as a person than it does about the issues.
Well, you're right. I think that the way that this money issue and the way the NFL has handled a bunch of its issues, I think what it's basically doing at this point is it's saying, hey, let me reach for something in the air. Oh, wait, I grabbed something random. And let's use it to fix the problem, as opposed to coming up with a sensible reason to fix the problem.
Since when have they ever been about sensible solutions?
Never.
Or the right thing to do? Never.
No, it's like the Giants right now.
They are basically a microcosm of this season. It's basically been a tire fucking fire.
Yeah. So, you're listening to the Unspoken Podcast. Guys, on that note, what do we think of Week 12 of the NFL?
Oy. That's all I can say.
It was a Week 12 of the NFL?
Yeah, really.
I can't believe we're already at Week 12, but let's see.
I was busy rearranging my sock drawers.
Let me go quickly through. Carolina beat the Jets. No surprise that the Jets would choke late. New England beat Miami. No shit. Yeah. Kansas City has lost to Buffalo 16-10. Good God, Kansas City, you have fallen.
Yeah, they're basically done at this point, really.
Can we not give Kareem Hunt the Rookie of the Year trophy? Can we somehow find a loophole to still give Deshaun Watson Rookie of the Year?
You know what the sick part is? I still think they're leading their division.
Because the AFC West sucks.
It sucks. I know. That's how bad they are. I think they're one game under 500, and they're still leading their division.
They are 6-7?
I thought they were 5-6, but
let me see. They are 6. No, they're 6-5 actually.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, 6-5.
Whatever. Just being one game over, and you're winning your goddamn division, for crying out loud.
But again, this is why it should no longer be, just because you win your division, you make the playoffs. No, I think we should start to go into the reality of, like, if you're a 7-9 team, I'm sorry, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Philadelphia beat Chicago 31-3, and now if they win on Sunday, actually all they got to do is win one more time, or Cowboys lose one time, and then that's it.
Yeah, the Cowboys finally decided to win a game for a change.
Yeah, they won on Thursday Night Football. How the hell did that happen? Their defense showed up, actually. The Rams beat New Orleans 26-20 in what was probably the game of the week. That or the Green Bay-Pittsburgh Sunday night game. Antonio Brown with 3 touchdown catches late in the game that either made you so happy as a fantasy owner or made you cry tears of just tears of sorrow, and I'm going to miss the playoffs now and everything else.
Yeah, basically.
And then Baltimore and Houston on Monday night. Ugh. All right.
Yeah, it's two broken down teams.
Yeah. So, boys, get your games up.
Boring. This is so boring. These games are boring.
We ready?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. 1 o'clock games on Sunday. Minnesota and Atlanta. The Vikings have won 7 games in a row and are 4-1 on the road.
Minnesota.
I'm going Minnesota. I think Atlanta's going to...
Joke.
That's my opinion. Atlanta will take an early lead, and then they will choke it away in the second half.
Oh, wait, so you're talking about the Super Bowl, which they're never going to win. Oh!
Oh!
Detroit and Baltimore. I got to go with Detroit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit.
Where's the game? At Baltimore?
No, I don't want.
Baltimore.
Oh, such a stupid, ridiculous game that no one cares about. Who'd you guys pick?
Detroit.
All right, flip a coin. All right, Detroit.
New England and Buffalo. New England has held opponents to 17 points or less during the winning streak. Yeah, New England. Oh, speaking of shit, boys, it's San Francisco and Chicago.
Oh my God.
We've reached the ultimate level of shit.
And you know what the sad part is? I'm actually taking Chicago.
Yeah, I'm taking Chicago as well.
Yeah, I'm taking Chicago. I mean, why? Maybe there's an alternate dimension where I'm actually where the Bears are actually good, and this is all a
dream.
Yeah, maybe this is all a dream. But
maybe you're going back to the future.
No, and that's my favorite movie too. Don't insult my favorite movie like that. I'm going to take the Bears.
Or you could go to 50 First Dates where they trick, what's her name? Oh, I can't remember. Drew Barrymore, who has amnesia, and they keep playing back the same football game because that's the only football game she remembers. So they were jokingly going to make a bet to say, I bet you this much that this team won. And the father's like, you've been watching the same game for a year. Don't do that.
Never saw that movie, so whatever.
It's a great movie. What the hell, man?
Moving on. Tampa Bay and Green Bay. It's the battle of bays. It's the battle of two shitty defenses.
Who you taking?
Flip a coin. Green Bay.
What is this going to be? Ryan Fitzpatrick versus...
No, I've heard Jameis Winston is actually healed and he will play this week.
Against Hundley?
Yeah, Hundley. But you know what? Hundley actually has been doing stuff with the likes of, Jamal Williams at running. He's got freaking, Devontae Adams as a favorite target. I'll go with Green Bay.
Jordy Nelson's basically become invisible at this point.
Right, but you know what? At least he's still there. Mike Evans, he has had a shitty year.
I'm gonna take Green Bay then.
Yeah, I mean, again, flip coin, Green Bay.
Indianapolis and Jacksonville. Jacksonville's defense is going to destroy.
They're going to annihilate Indianapolis and Jacksonville.
I'm going to take Jacksonville by 10.
What's a Blake Bortles anyway?
What is a Blake Bortles? Yeah, we might see
Blake Bortles?
We might see Eli there soon anyway.
Denver and Miami.
I tried to block that out. Don't do that.
Sorry. Denver and Miami.
Oh, what game are we talking about now?
Denver.
Denver and Miami.
This is another bad game.
It's in Miami, by the way.
You know what? I'm thankful for that because I need background noise as I put my Christmas decorations up. I'm taking the Dolphins by 7.
And by the way, boys, Paxton Lynch is going to be in Denver, according to my thing.
So it's not Brock Osweiler. Great.
I don't think so.
Paxton Lynch starts at quarterback. Does anybody care?
No. And I heard Jay Cutler might actually start.
No, wait. It's not going to be Paxton Lynch. It's going to be Trevor Siemian.
Oh, great. Good.
And I do not rescind my statement because it is still applicable. If Trevor Siemian starts at quarterback, does anybody give a shit?
No. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go Miami.
Oh, God. I don't even... Who do you have, Nick?
I just said I'm taking the Dolphins by 7.
I'm about to pull the Nick Fodera opposite move here, and I'm going to take Denver in Miami.
Hey, I don't go opposite all the time.
No, I'm pulling a Nick Fodera and taking Denver because he doesn't take Denver anymore.
We got, hey, Chiefs, look, it's your greatest chance to end your drought. You're facing the New York Jets.
Yeah, they're the punching bags in the Rocky montage.
I'm going to go with Kansas City. If Kansas City somehow loses here, then you're going to be the first round playoff elimination is what you're going to become. Not even a second round, a first round.
Ooh, somebody's bold.
I'm about to make a bold pick right now.
Oh my God, you're not. You're going to pick the Jets, aren't you?
I'm going to take the Jets because the way that they've been playing the past couple weeks, Alex Smith does not look good. Alex Smith can't throw the ball seemingly past 10 yards down the field.
I have to admit that does scare me.
And the Jets' defense is actually not as bad as people think it is. And also, I can't remember the name of the receiver, that young receiver they've been playing lately. But he's had like 2 touchdowns the last 3 games each. 2 touchdowns each the past 3 games. So,
would that be Robbie Anderson?
Is it Robbie Anderson? Maybe. The guy, he's got the dreadlocks and...
Yeah, that would be Robbie Anderson, right?
Yes, that's it. He's been very good lately since he's been stepping up in that role. So
that's scaring me. The more we talk about this, it's scaring me.
So I got the Jets, and I think they're going to win by at least 10 points, at least.
Bunk 'em, I say. I say Chiefs by 7.
Houston and Tennessee. Oh God, more shit.
Oh my God, what the hell?
Again, background noise to put Christmas decorations up on.
Hey, you could be putting presents under the tree. You don't know.
I'd like it to be Christmas already. I'll go with Tennessee.
Oh God. See, if Deshaun Watson was starting, this would be a slam dunk, but he's not. So
I honestly think Delanie Walker is a must start, and I think Delanie Walker and Marcus Mariota are going to destroy the Texans.
Marcus Mariota sucks.
I know he sucks, but it's the Texans. Their defense is without J.J. Watt. They suck.
So I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a flip-flop game, but I'm going to take Tennessee.
Okay, Cleveland and the Chargers. Remember last season when Cleveland got its first win? It was against the Chargers.
I remember that. Oh.
The boys, is lightning striking twice?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. The Chargers are one of the better teams in the NFL this year, playing much better than we all thought they were. Chargers win, and I think they win by a decent amount.
I guess the Chargers as well. All right. Hey, Carolina and New Orleans. The Panthers have gone 6-2 since losing to the Saints 34-13 in Week 3.
This is actually a good game, believe it or not.
Also remember this. That was when Kamara and Ingram were struggling and they were sharing the ball with Peterson. Peterson's now over in Arizona. And Ingram and Kamara have stepped up their game. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Saints.
Yeah, Saints at home. I mean, they've been one of the better home teams in all of the NFL this year.
That's true, too.
Also, Drew Brees looks like he's got a little a vengeance since the first couple games of the season. So I think you got to take the Saints because I don't like the way Carolina looks at this point. No Kelvin Benjamin. No Cam Newton looks like he's a dumpster fire. So, yeah. In more ways than one, right. So the Saints at home.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take the Saints.
All right. LA Rams and Arizona. This is actually still a fair game. It's a fair game. It's not shit, but it's not good.
It's really not. If Carson Palmer's not 100% healthy, then you can't win.
The Rams. I still think even if even if Palmer is healthy, and even if Peterson is healthy, I still think the Rams are going to just.
The Rams are going to win.
They've been doing so well this season.
I mean, Woods is out. That's a major injury for them.
Right, but I don't think that's going to stop Goff.
No, it's not going to stop it. But I'm saying that is a major injury to their receiver core. But I still think they're going to win whole-handedly.
I'm gonna take the Rams.
All right,
they haven't let me down.
Guys, it's the Giants and the Raiders. The Giants.
Wait a minute. Can we just say Oakland since we talked about this for 2 hours the other day?
Yes, we're gonna say Oakland. If the Giants, at this point, I don't care about the Giants anymore. So I'm just gonna go Oakland.
You know what the sad part is? That Oakland is a horrible team.
I was gonna say that's the point. It's like I don't know now because as I
of course. All together, folks. 1, 2, 3.
No shit! The AFC West sucks. This is the Giants' big chance, and they're going to be starting Geno Smith, and they're not even going to look at. They might look at Davis. I don't know. I don't know what the Giants are doing anymore. They're not even. Here's the best thing I can say about the Giants. You know how the phrase "they aren't on the same page"? No, they aren't even in the same book. If this was the Bible,
they're not even playing the same league. They're not even in the same league. Actually, they're in orbit around the stadium. They can actually wave as they pass by.
If this were the Bible, you would have the owners would be in Genesis, McAdoo would be in Revelations, and Eli would.
No, he's actually in the Torah.
Wow. This team isn't even together. Sunday night game of the week.
Same God, different scripture.
Philadelphia and Seattle is the Sunday night game of the week. It's actually a good game. The Seahawks have won their last 3 games against the Eagles. Their last loss coming in 2008. Philadelphia, of course, only 1 loss this season. If they win, they clinch the division. What do you think, guys?
This is actually a semi-decent game, believe it or not.
And they are in Seattle, by the way.
This is not as bad a game as people make it out to be, believe it or not. Seattle's actually coming along a little bit and playing better football as of late.
But Philadelphia. I'm going to take Philly.
But Philadelphia,
but only by like 3.
But Philadelphia is the number 1 team in all of the NFL right now. So Carson Wentz is probably going to be up there for the MVP discussion this year. So
I would say Philadelphia by 7 or 10, but they are playing in Seattle. Of course, we know Seattle has one of the best home fields.
Defense is not good as it used to be. Give me a break. Richard Sherman's out. So
Gag onto me with a spoon.
Okay, so I'll do Philadelphia by 7 then.
I have Philadelphia winning. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not the aggressive defense of a few years ago.
And then the Monday night game of the week, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Pittsburgh.
It's a hell of a birthday present, guys.
Now I think we should, and we don't do this every week, but I think we should do the Thursday night game because we never do it because because we're always a week behind when we eventually get to the Thursday game.
Okay, so the Thursday game of the week for Week 14. Ooh, this one's good. It's New Orleans and Atlanta.
Not really. That's pretty crap.
No, I think it's better than. I don't know. We've seen some shit on Thursday night, Nick.
Wait a minute. Is this the battle of the Mercedes-Benz stadiums?
I think it is.
It is. This game is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz.
It literally is. Both stadiums are sponsored by Mercedes-Benz.
Good Lord.
Well, you ever heard the old joke? What's the difference between a Mercedes-Benz and a porcupine?
No.
What?
Well, the porcupine, the pricks are on the outside.
Oh! My God.
I mean, Nick, to be fair, come on. Pittsburgh and Tennessee in Week 11. Seattle and Arizona. Actually, that one was fine. Buffalo and the Jets Week 9. Miami, Baltimore Week 8. You're going to call Atlanta versus New Orleans crap, but we had that?
I'm taking the Saints. I am taking the Saints.
I'm taking the Saints, too.
I'll take the Saints. And, boys, before we end the show, let's just talk. I want to mention one other story, just to end on a happy note.
Oh, God.
The city of Cleveland has been approved for an 0-16 parade.
Really? Like, wait a minute. So I heard of being positive on winning, being undefeated, but now we're going to promote being defeated.
Pretty much we are capping a bow on a team that has provided little to nothing since 1999.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just sorry. And for all the bellyaching we do about the Giants, I can't even imagine how Browns fans feel.
I'm very confused at this point, to be honest with you.
And we do a lot of bellyaching about the Giants. I mean, look at last week, for God's sake. But this is we've crossed the Rubicon at this point, folks.
I'm kind of very, 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 very confused at this point.
Yeah.
It's just Cleveland for you.
Cleveland.
I mean, only the Browns.
Only the Browns.
And I think that's just going to do it for us for this edition of the Unspoken Podcast. Go like us on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope at the UDUP. Go like the Undetermined Podcast Network on Facebook, Twitter at the UD Network. Go like and follow all the rest of the Undetermined Podcast Network accounts. And that's going to do it for Nick Fodera, Nick Morgasen. I'm Tom Albano. We'll see you next time. You'll be listening to the Unspoken Podcast, Cheap Seat Sports Production Party on the Undetermined Podcast Network. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night and sleep well.
Butt plugs?